Good evening, everyone, and welcome to day 495, July the 3rd, 2023. We continue our updates on Ukraine. I want to thank you for being here. Thank you for continuing to support the work and the efforts that we do to tell the world the truth. And of course, the world right now is really in a precarious position, not only with the war in Ukraine, what's unfolding in France, what's happening in Israel and Palestine, of course, all the things throughout the United States. And we're here to continue to do our best to get the truth out and stand for righteousness and goodness. So, folks, tonight, full tactical update. I want to give special thanks to Zhenya for being here on Friday night. Right now, he's in Kyiv. Quite a few air attacks happening throughout Ukraine right now. Dnipro especially being hit hard tonight. Sumy hit hard over the last 24 hours. We'll be talking about that in a moment. Zhenya's in Kyiv. He's back at the doctor tomorrow for further work on that shoulder and elbow and knee. And I had a successful surgery on Friday. You may be wondering, where is the bandage and all of those things? It's actually under my hat. So I have my Ukrainian hat on tonight, and all the work was done on my head. So no, not brain surgery, just basal cell Mohs procedures. So there we have it, and continue to get better. And we appreciate you guys being here. Now, also want to say specifically tonight, happy birthday to the United States of America. Tomorrow we will be celebrating birthday number 247, red, white, and blue. We're thankful for our country. We're thankful for standing for goodness and righteousness. I have my flag on tonight. Land of the free, home of the brave. So thank you guys, all of you guys that are in here that are Americans. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to our nation. For those of you that are watching from Europe and other places around the world, today's our birthday, so, or tomorrow, or whenever you're watching. So July the 4th, United States, a young baby country, to be quite honest, 247 years old. So thank you guys. Let's jump right into it tonight, and we're going to start with Bakhmut. Everything tonight, for the most part, tactical updates. These are some quotes directly. Here is a picture of Bakhmut, and these are some quotes from Molyar, who is the deputy defense minister. She quote today saying, control over the same positions in reference to Bakhmut can be lost and restored twice a day. In fact, I've seen some reports where positions are changing hands even 3 times a day. She also added that the enemy, Russia, is creating 3 lines of defense in threatening directions. I'm here to tell you tonight, and we're going to look at the map in just a moment and go through the front lines line by line. But on the southern flank, below Bakhmut, troops are fighting, and Russia is pushing down there in the south. And on the northern flank, hot battles. It's extremely tight there in Bakhmut. Forget the city. It's not about the city. It's about the regions on the north and the south. So that's where we are at Bakhmut. I can also share with you later about Liman. They call it the Limansky front. Russia pushing really hard there. Ukraine having a lot of success on the south, down below Zaporozhye, and we will look at that in just a moment. So it's a war of give and take, and that is where we're at, and we will continue to be. So that's Bakhmut. Now, I want to talk to you about the city of Sumy. Sumy, as you guys know, I'll go here and just show you this. Here is Kyiv right here. Of course, Sumy right here on the Russian border. We can zoom in. Very large city here, and you can see the Russian border and all of the troops that are there on the border. People many times do not even think about that there's all these troops up here. They think that they're just in Ukraine fighting. So Sumy up there in the north was shelled, and it was hit by Shahed drones. The most recent numbers that we have, let me go back to that image, are 3 have been killed and 32 wounded. You may be asking tonight, what was the target? The target was a residential building. Here's a little footage right here. I want you to listen with your ears. You will hear the sound of the Shahed before it hits the building. This guy was filming out of his window, and for a split second there, you'll hear the Shahed, and then it will hit. And unfortunately, 3 people have lost their life, 32 wounded. And then I'll show you some video of the cleanup there in Sumy what's happening. So here it is. Just listen. I'll play it twice.
Ебать! Пизда, шахиды, ебать.
Shahidi. You can hear him say Shahid. Let me back that up because I was talking over it. Just listen right at the beginning.
Ебать!
You can hear it.
Пизда, шахиды, ебать.
Shahid, Shahid. You hear him calling out. Now, that's the sound, folks. I've heard those myself, and here is some of the cleanup. This coming from the administration of Sumi on the strike there. You can see there the building. Rescue workers up there working.
Перекрывай воду.
You know, guys, many times we only think about soldiers and politicians and munitions and arms, but the rescue workers there, the police, the firefighters, first responders, and civilians and volunteers. This repeated every day throughout Ukraine, all along these front lines. Just think about the amount of people required for rescue operations. It's just overwhelming what is happening there in Ukraine. Now, I want to jump down now to Kakhovka. Want to give you an update down there. That right there is actually an image of what the Kakhovka Dam is supposed to look like normally. This is actually looking from the left bank to the right. And this would be the region where you would be actually looking down toward Kherson on the right side of that photo. Now, what does it look like? Of course, after the dam has been blown, and no, it will not be repaired during the war. Not possible. This is what it looks like now, completely empty. So here's before. Take a look at the dam itself and here, and you may be asking yourselves right there, what are those people doing out there? Well, let me tell you, those people are actually Ukrainians, of course, but they are on the occupied side. And if you look closely, and I know you're watching on YouTube, on your phone, tablet, maybe your television on the big screen, they all have buckets in their hands. They're coming to get whatever water they can get. They're not out there sunbathing and swimming in the little bit of water. They're not fishing. They're just trying to get some water. And that's what's happening. That would be on the occupied side there. Now, let me jump down now to, jump down now to the Antonivka bridge. Here, this would be downriver from, let me go here. Let's go over here. Let's go down here. Let's go to this site. Let me show you this first. This, of course, would be where the Kakhovka Dam was. You were looking at that image, looking across that way. And this is where the dam was that was blown. Now, if you come down the river, and you're coming toward Kherson, you get to Antonivka. Antonivka. This is the bridge we have talked about many times. And, of course, you can see there on the map itself, it's out. I want to give you an update on the Antonivka. So just for you guys that are wondering, okay, you've got Kakhovka up here. You come down the river, Antonivka, Kherson, and then you actually come out to the Black Sea. Antonivka Bridge, of course, destroyed, will not be fixed before the war is over. It's not possible. Wrong image. That image I need. The arrow there showing where the bridge is. So Ukraine has been fighting for the bridgehead, and they actually crossed the river and came to where the red mark is. Let me show you a different image here. This is the Antonivka bridge. So I'm going to zoom in here. Ukrainians military, and you can see the control here. Go here. they've controlled this side, which would be the right side, but they had made a push and were trying to create a bulkhead right here on this side of the bridge. Now, it's public knowledge. Russia did strike them and took out up to 30 Ukrainian soldiers is the last number I saw, and that was even from the Ukrainian side. I pulled this video from the occupiers' information. This is showing the strike where they took out that bridgehead right there, and that was striking where the Ukrainians had established a position. So this is still a very, very hot battle. It's very contested, and that is the update up to the moment on the Antonivka bridge. Now, with all that said, I want to take a look now, and let's do what we said tonight. We're going to look at the front lines. I'm actually going to use a new source here. This right here is really good. Let's start down south, and we'll work our way up. So this is, all the red triangles, folks, are Russian field fortifications. We've got information today that up to 180,000 troops have pushed into this northeast side here. Now, tactically speaking, this blue area right here is the flood damage even that pushed down from the Kakhovka down through the Antonivka, and that's being marked. The gold is claim Russian control on the left side of the bank, and of course, Ukraine controls all on the right side. All of these places along this river here, Zhenya and I have been. We've done a lot of work right there at Ivanivka, which of course is right on the front. But on the south, pretty much everything's staying the same up here until you get upriver all the way to, this would be Zaporozhye here. You come down below it. We have Ukraine pushing south of Zaporizhia, for those of you get upset sometimes. I'm sorry. I've learned Russian, not Ukrainian. So Zaporizhia. And then here in this section, Ukraine making a push on the counteroffensive as well over here to the right of Mirny. Additionally, look at all this on the south. Ukraine making a strong push here. This is below Veliki Novosilka. We have done work in this region, and actually this area is the largest Ukrainian counteroffensive that is taking place. So that's what's happening on the south down here. Really interesting here also, you see this shaded blue. Looks like blue diagonal lines. This is areas that are marked as partisan warfare, meaning there are Ukrainians there that are doing their best behind the front lines in occupied territory, being a resistance. A lot of the sabotage, all of these areas are major areas of resistance. So that's Melitopol, that's Tokmak, and of course up here in the Donetsk region. So Lugansk, you can see several Donetsk. Now I want to come up here on the eastern flank. Now we're going to go north and east a little bit. This is coming up out of Donetsk, of course, and this is pushing towards Zaporozhye, toward Dnipro. You can see the gold. It claimed Russian control, but we see some slivers here where Ukraine is making some pushes here at the village of Pobleda. This, of course, is Marinka, which is extremely hot battles right now. The battles are the hottest they've been since the war began. This is coming up here in the region of pushing toward Permamaisky, and Ukraine, of course, making really good pushes here on this flank here. Russia says they are pushing back here. This is all on the southern side of Avdiivka. This is a city we've talked about many times. We actually have personal friends that have been serving in the city of Avdiivka, and I'm going to tell you what, they're heroes there. This is kind of like a Bakhmut. They've been holding out forever and ever. Ukraine making pushes along this southern front of Avdiivka, and the north side here, Russia says they're pushing on the gold. You then push up toward Bakhmut here, out of Alexandropol, and below Yurivka, Ukraine making a push here. So we're seeing some good blue. Now we're pushing up toward the southern side of Bakhmut. Look at here. Beautiful pushes on the front line. Now, it may be 500 meters, it may be 1 kilometer, it may be 2 kilometers, but Ukraine making some good pushes. We do have Russia pushing out on the south side of Bakhmut right here, as well right here, all toward Ivanivsky. We've talked about that city many times. So that's the southern side of Bakhmut. The northern side, Ukraine making some good push here, and here. All of this on the northern section or northern side of Bakhmut. Of course, Bakhmut right here, completely under control. Now, I can tell you that up here, this is the tough place right now. So this region right here, you see it says Limansky Rayon. Limansky region, this is the city of Liman. This is Rygorodok, where we've done a lot of work and support here. But Liman right here, Russia is pushing aggressively, and they're calling this Limansky Front because it's the Limansky region. So it's extremely difficult here, and you can just see, folks, the amount of soldiers, the amount that Russia has pushed in, all these fortified positions, multiple lines. So it is absolutely heroic what Ukraine is doing, and that's a peek at the front lines there on day number 495 and where we're at right now. Now, with that said, of course, many people wondering, okay, Russia changing their positions, Wagner's gone, Prigozhin's gone, what's going on with them? Shoigu looks like he's staying in position. Gerasimov has disappeared. Sorokin has disappeared. Whatever. I can only tell you this for a fact. Shoigu is in position. Shoigu is going nowhere. In fact, today, Shoigu giving his report. He's back in position, doing his job, and I've got this voiced over for you. Folks, listen to the... I want to use the word ludicrous. Listen to the numbers he gives to the generals that are sitting there. Here is Shoigu talking today.
Good afternoon, dear colleagues. We'll get to work. I'll begin with the situation in the area of our special military operation. Our armed forces continue to inflict effective fire on our enemy, which significantly reduces their offensive potential against us. On the South Donetsk, Zaporozhye, Donetsk directions alone, where Ukrainian formations are launching unsuccessful attacks against us, groups of our armed forces destroyed 15 planes, 3 helicopters, 920 units of armored vehicles, and 16 Leopard tanks. That is practically 100% of the tanks of this type that was supplied by Poland and Portugal.
Well, he's in position and continuing to lie. 15 airplanes, 3 helicopters, 16 Leopards, basically all the ones that have come from Portugal and Poland. And they just eat it up. But the circus continues. The difference in the circus now, though, is there is no Prigozhin today. Pay attention to that word. Today. There's no Prigozhin today. He did finally make a statement. There's no Gerasimov and Sorokin. We have Shoigu. And it looks like there's a stranglehold on the power, the agenda, the rhetoric, the propaganda. It's completely strangled now. And the only narrative is coming out of the Kremlin. And of course, this is why you've seen Vladimir Putin, or many of you want to think, and it could be a double here or there. traveling all over the place, making all these appearances. Yes, they're adjusting the narrative, and it's happening right in front of our faces. And while that narrative is being adjusted, we see, you guys remember when we told you that the F-16s, oh, well, they're going to start training the pilots in June. And by October, we'll have F-16s. Folks, it's not happening. It's not happening. And it's not my information. It's not my opinion. It's a fact. Kuleba today making a direct statement, foreign minister of Ukraine, saying, we were promised that our pilots would begin training by June. They're not even scheduled for training. So there's no way these F-16s, world, do you not understand that we're going to really struggle without equipment? And I understand, folks, I understand people are getting tired of this war. People are getting tired of billions of dollars going, not only from the United States, but from other nations, the EU. People are tired of it. Well, this is exactly the game that Vladimir Putin wants to unfold, and it's happening. Right now, you see France. How are they going to help? Jane and I were just discussing this a few minutes ago. How are they going to help? They're struggling to control even what's happening in their own nation right now. Israel today, right now, in Palestine, rolling. Turkey, I have information about Turkey coming up. Poland and Germany today arguing and unable to come to conclusion on how the Leopard tanks will be repaired, where, and who will pay for it. It's a lot of chaos going on, and this is actually the agenda that Putin and many others in the world want right now. Just absolute chaos. So let's look here. Russia concerned about, we're staying on the tactical update tonight, Russia concerned about the strikes that are happening in Simferopol. So we're going to come back to the map now. They have established a new Black Sea Fleet base in the city of Feodosia. This is on the very southern side of Crimea. It is better protected, and it shows that the Ukrainian military has done some incredible work striking Simferopol. So Russia has relocated their Black Sea Fleet. So if you take a look here at the map, this is Crimea, of course, and this is Sevastopol. Right here, Sevastopol. You come around Yalta. You come all the way over here to Feodosia, right here. So this is where the Black Sea Fleet has moved from Sevastopol. I think I may have said Simferopol earlier. I meant Sevastopol. Sevastopol, they've rotated around, and they've pulled up into this bay here in Feodosia, and this has been set up. And quite logically, it offers more protection because it's further from the ability to strike. Additionally, it's closer to the Kerch Bridge. It's closer to Novorossiysk and other places that are used to supply. They come right across the Black Sea here because they own it pretty much. And I say they own it because grain deal is obviously struggling to stay alive as well. So that's where we're at there on the Russian military base moving to the south of Crimea. President Zelenskyy today interviewed, and this actually will air on Wednesday. So today is Monday. This interview right here, when it showed on CNN on Wednesday, will be 48 hours old or more. He was interviewed, CNN, a sit down there in Kyiv, and they asked him, when will this war be over? And he specifically said, the war will never be over. And this is very interesting, which we already know. He says the war will never be over until we have all of our territory back, including Crimea. So on this Wednesday interview, this very area we're looking at, so reinforced, Zelenskyy says, we must have Crimea for this war to be over. Whether that's negotiation ploys, tactics, that's been the narrative, and they're not changing from it. So I stand with them that The territory of Ukraine, 1991 sovereign borders must be restored, including Lugansk, Donetsk, Zaporozhye, Kherson, and Crimea. So that's where we're at. And Zelenskyy reaffirms that in that interview here in the sit down. That will be 7 o'clock Eastern on Wednesday on CNN. Now, we've got some new news out of Turkey. I've already been talking about France. We've been talking about other nations that are struggling right now. Turkey. Erdogan came out today and said, we are struggling to keep the narrative alive for us to continue to assist Ukraine the way we are doing. And the reason he gave for that was simple. He says that 50% of our population in Turkey is for Russia. 50% is for Ukraine. Turkey, a tremendously large nation, strategic for the world and what is happening right now. Turkey, Erdogan says, my nation is divided right down the middle, 50-50, 50% for Russia, 50% Ukraine. I'm struggling to keep this narrative going. And I can tell you, where do the tourists from Russia go on holiday? Well, most of them go to Turkey. So, in fact, there was some video released just a couple of days ago of Russian soldiers that were on the beach and on their holiday, and they were just gloating about how many Ukrainians they have killed, and now they're on vacation or holiday in Turkey. So, Turkey, that's the situation there with them. Wrong button, this button. Now, NATO tomorrow expected to extend on July the 4th Stoltenberg's term for another year. Many people have been wondering, and the rumors were floating. I have a picture of Boris Johnson there because it was rumored that Boris Johnson would be the next director or the leader of NATO there, replacing Stoltenberg when his term ended. A lot of talk was happening about that. Well, folks, that is absolutely not happening. Stoltenberg will be reconfirmed, and unfortunately, Boris Johnson is going to go silent. He's got his issues there in Great Britain, and he will not be coming into position there in NATO. So that's what's happening there. Now, Belarus. Yes, here's what we can confirm. There are structures in place that have been built, confirmed via satellite, that is a potential place for Wagner to come. That's it. Lukashenko did come out and make a statement that no Wagner criminals would be coming to Belarus, only professional soldiers, because all of the criminals, he said, quote, were killed in Ukraine. So now Wagner is just full of professional mercenaries. That was his statement. But what we confirm, and there's other pictures out there, tents being constructed and this and that, but we couldn't confirm the location. This has been confirmed via satellite, and these are positions that have been established in Belarus that are potential for Wagner to be relocated there. That's a fact. Now, due to that, Poland is adjusting. Let me go to the map here right quick and show you this. So here is Ukraine. You guys know Ukraine. This is Belarus. And look, this huge nation right here, huge, is Poland. And it has a huge border, a long border with Belarus. It has a border with Ukraine. We're not worried about the EU nations. And it has a border here. Look here, folks. Many people don't even realize this. Kaliningrad, this is Russia right here. So you've got Russia here, Belarus here, and then the long border here with Ukraine. So Poland has, due to the possibility of, why do I keep hitting the wrong button tonight? Due to the possibility of Wagner coming in, Belarus becoming more active, nuclear weapons, tactical, being placed in Belarus under Russian control, Poland has responded, and they have increased their border presence along the Belarusian border. They have placed there 500 new police officers, 5,000 border guards, and 2,000 of their professional military soldiers are now dotted along that border with Belarus. So, folks, that's where we're at with that. This is just getting uglier every day. And I know we're all tired of it and we want it to end, but If everyone grows tired of it and everyone wants it to end, it's going to end in a very poor way. And most people can't see the end from the beginning, that this world will go the wrong direction even faster than it's going now if Ukraine loses this war. That is why we stand until victory. That's what we're standing for. Now, all tactical tonight. Yelabuz, that's how you pronounce it. Yelabuz. It's just east of Kazan and east of Moscow. That red dot right there, I've got Russia outlined for you, Ukraine outlined for you. That is now the agreed upon place where the factory is cranking up for what? Shahed drones. Shahed drones. It is a partnership between Iran and a partnership between Russia. That Shahed drones now being manufactured in Yelabuz. And I can tell you that some of the drones that have been shot down already have new markings on them, where many are suggesting that Russia is already manufacturing Shahed drones. And I honestly believe that is truly happening, because the amount of drones that are flying over Ukraine nightly is crazy. And when I was just talking to Janie, he says, yeah, I'm in Kyiv tonight. I'm up on my apartment building here, and I've got to be careful. I've got to pay attention because they're flying every night over Kyiv. So that's what's happening there. No question that we have the partnership between Iran and Russia. Kim Jong-un visiting Russia. There's North Korea. And then, of course, China. Now, want to move to one more thing. Actually, two more things tonight before we close out our tactical update. This one, Unilever. Hey, now I'm thankful for all of our British friends in here. I really am. A lot of you guys that are from Great Britain and United Kingdom have been with us from day one when we started streaming updates on Ukraine. And Unilever company based there in Great Britain, still working in Russia. And for those of you in the United States, a lot of these products you will recognize. Unilever has not left the Russian market. So Unilever is huge. Look at some of these things. Breyer's ice cream, Popsicle, Ben & Jerry's, Klondike, Fudgesicle, Hellman's mayonnaise, Slim Fast. What else here? Lipton tea, Close Up, Pepsodent toothpaste, Q-tips, Vaseline, Degree, Sun, Breeze, Via, VO5, Thermosilk, Dove, Axe, Lever 2000, Noxzema, Suave, St. Ives. A lot of news coming out today that Unilever helping to pay the Russian war machine by not pulling their business out of Russia. So, folks, maybe think about that next time you're at the store. And, I don't want some really good products there. Klondike bars. Wow. Stay away from the Klondikes. Finally, EU weighing concession. And, Zhenya talked about this many times to Russian bank over the Black Sea grain deal. Now, this is today, and right now, the grain deal is looking like it's going to fall apart again. But EU is looking at weighing concessions where SWIFT, the transaction, the financial system, would be reconnected to Russia. Folks, this is what we've talked about the whole time. SWIFT, 9 months ago, SWIFT disconnecting from Russia. Okay, that'll help money not be able to be not make it more difficult for money to be transferred. Well, now EU weighing a concession to Russia, reconnecting SWIFT. What we're learning, folks, is, we said this from the beginning, and we will stand by it. You have a Goliath versus David in this war. And for those people out there that think Russia's just some tiny little nation, not that important, you're crazy. It's still very powerful, resourceful nation that a lot of the world is directly connected to. And this war is not simple. So that's where we're at tonight. For all of you that will be celebrating birth of America, happy birthday to you, United States. 247 tomorrow. The rest of you, we appreciate you for being here. Appreciate your support. Appreciate everything that you do. You guys be blessed. And as of right now, I'll check one more time here. Kyiv region right now. Shaheeds are flying Chernigiv. Shaheeds are flying Dnipro. There are explosions. And down in Crimea, in Sevastopol, Ukraine is hitting Sevastopol. Once again, that is why we've talked about they're moving that naval base. So thank you guys. That's where we're at tonight. And we will see you in 48 hours, if not before. You guys be blessed. We'll see you soon. Good night.